Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm out in the Caliente garage, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to change the rear park and brake pads on a DCT style Honda Goldwing. There are many of you that are like me. You engage your parking brake and you fail to disengage them until you was down the road. Now your rear park and brakes are not holding. I want you to stay tuned to this video, and I'm going to walk you through step by step how to change your rear park and brake pads on a DCT style Honda Goldwing. So let's get started. I have the Honda Goldwing DCT already lifted up and secured to a jack stand. For step-by-step instructions on how to lift and secure the DCT Honda Goldwing to a motorcycle jack, you can click on the link in the top corner, and my video will demonstrate how to lift the Honda Goldwing. In order to change the rear park and brake pads, you're gonna have to remove the rear wheel. So I've already lifted. The Honda Goldwing is up and secure on my motorcycle lift. The information that I'm using is coming straight out of the Honda service manual. Pick up a Honda service manual and it gives you a lot of the information right there inside of the manual. So I have the bike on the lift, it's already secure, and we're gonna get underneath the bike to remove the rear wheel and take off the rear brake pads. I'm just gonna use my air gun to make it quicker to remove the rear wheel. Also, to remove the rear wheel, if you're running dark side, you're definitely gonna have to take off this little chrome piece that goes on the muffler. You got one little bolt that holds it, that mounts on the side. You're gonna have to remove this in order to drop down the tire. So now I can remove this rear wheel. And I'm just gonna drop it right down, straight down. And I'm gonna turn it at an angle and roll it right out. So as you can see, we have two brake pad pins that need to come out. I'm going to use a braking bar with a 5mm Allen to take out those brake pin bolts. Since these pads gonna be changed out, I don't have to worry about oil. So I'm gonna spray this a little bit, put a little penetrating oil. And you wanna make sure you wipe all this oil back off before you put on the new pads. Okay, so I'm gonna take my 5mm. And you wanna just loosen the bolts. Do the same to the other side. Just loosen the bolts, just break it free. Because once you get the caliper off in your hand, you want to be able to take out these brake pad pins. So we're going to move to the other side of the Honda Goldwing. Next, on the right side of the Honda Goldwing, we need to remove these two caliper mounting bolts, one here on the bottom, one kind of behind the spring. We're going to take out those 2 bolts in order to drop the caliper. I'm going to be using a 12 millimeter and also a 12 millimeter open box wrench. For the first bolt, I'm just going to use my braking bar to make it a lot easier. Now that I have this one loose, I'm going to take out the top caliper mounting bolt. I'm going to use my box wrench, my 12 millimeter, to access this bolt behind the spring. There's one bolt, and I just need to remove the second bolt. And this bolt is right behind this spring, so it's going to be a little bit challenging to get this bolt off. I might even see if I can slide my socket in there. I'm going to take off this nut. Here on the front. So I'm going to just take me a little bitty tool and just kind of mark the position. So I'll know that it's in the same position. So I'm going to remove this out of the way. I want to access that bolt right up on the top. So take your time. And I'm just going to work this bolt out using my 12 millimeter ratchet. And now the caliper is off of the bike. So as you can see, the brake pads are all the way worn down. I mean, there's nothing left even on that outer pad. So now that I have the caliper dropped, I'm going to take my 5 millimeter and I want to take out these brake pad bolts. There is one. Second bolt. We don't want anything just falling. So that would be the left side. This will be the right side. So we're going to look and see if there's any difference. So as you can see, these brake pads are worn all the way down. I'm going to take a little bit of brake parts cleaner. I'm going to let that drip dry. While that's drying, we're going to take the Honda park and brake pads, get those opened up. Two new pads. As you can see, when you compare this to the older brake pad, the older brake pad is worn. There's nothing on it. So we're going to get these new brake pads installed. So we're going to put in the inner. As you can see. Okay. We're going to take our second outer brake pad, line it up with the holes. We're going to take our brake pad pins, there's one. A little bit of tension on it. And now I can tighten down or screw in on, and now I can just screw down these brake pad pins. And these brake pad pins, you want to tighten them back down to 13 foot-pounds. You want to use 13 foot-pounds on the brake pad pins, and you want to tighten down the caliper mounting bolts 23 foot-pounds. We'll tighten down these brake pad pins once we get the caliper mounted back to the Honda Goldwing. But for now, we're going to put the caliper back onto the Honda Goldwing. Slide them right in. See, push in. Okay, now we can tighten back down these mounting bolts. Now we can take the top mounting bolt, and we're gonna just hand tighten it down. And now I can just tighten this back down. Now I can rotate this caliper, put in my bottom bolt, and you want to tighten these back down to 23 foot-pounds. Try to get behind it with my open box wrench. Pretty tight. Now I can put back this cable for the parking brake. I wouldn't advise taking off this bolt. I just did it because this mounting bolt is right up on the spring and you can't get this thing, you can't get the mounting bolt out. So be careful if you're using a hydrostatic wrench to take that out, because once it back out so far with a hydrostatic wrench, you can't go back forward. So just be careful taking out this top bolt using a hydrostatic wrench. And I really wouldn't advise taking this bolt off, but this was the only way that I could get this off to access the rear mounting bolt. So Honda kind of put that in a bad spot. I just made a notch here on the parking brake lever, and I matched it up with a little notch that I made on the caliper. So I wouldn't advise taking off this bolt. If you do, you're gonna have to work to get it back on. Just tighten that back down. For step-by-step instructions on how to adjust the parking brake, you can click on the link in the top corner and it'll show you how to just adjust the parking brake if you need to adjust it. Here in this video, we're just changing out the brake pads. So now I can go to the other side and tighten back down the brake pin bolts on the other side. So back on the left side, now I can tighten back down these brake pin bolts to 13 foot-pounds. While I'm here, I'm just going to put some lubricant on these studs. I just want to clean this rotor. And also the rear brake pad area. I'm going to check the parking brake. Oh yeah, I can feel it. It's already tight. I just want to go up one click. Just one click. Yeah, this thing is not moving. It's real tight. It's not moving. For step-by-step instructions on how to actually adjust the parking brake if necessary, I'm gonna include a link that'll show you how I adjust the parking brakes. So yeah, I can tell that this is tight just even going up to the first click. Oh yeah, that's tight. So I can tell that changing out these parking brake pads have corrected my problem. So this is going to conclude my installation video on how to change the rear parking brake pads on a DCT style Honda Goldwing year models 2018 through 2024. But I want you guys to stay tuned to my part 2. I'm going to walk you through how to change just the regular rear brake pads on a Honda Goldwing, and we're going to go back with the Honda original brake pads. So stay tuned to my part 2 on that video. So let me know what you think. Drop a comment down in the comment section below and let me know if you actually accidentally pulled off with your parking brakes engaged and you worn down your parking brake pads. Be sure to let me know. Also, I picked up the parking brake interlock, and with this parking brake interlock, it's supposed to prevent the rider from driving off when the parking brake is engaged. So if the parking brake is engaged, the Honda Goldwing will not even go into gear. So this was made by Electrical Connection. Stay tuned, and hopefully I'll be able to get this thing installed so I don't have this problem again. So if you guys have actually used this, if you installed it on your bike, let me know in the comments how you actually like this device, the brake interlock for the DCT Honda Goldwing from Electrical Connection. I want everybody to chime in on this and let me know if this video actually helped you guys that ran into the exact same problem with your parking brake pads. So click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys a little bit later out here in the Caliente garage.